Okay, audience. Say hi, audience.
Hello.
Okay.
So, did you guys know that the rights to the Happy Birthday song are actually owned by someone? So, if you're in a public environment, like professional, corporate, like a restaurant or something, if you sing Happy Birthday, you either have to change the melody or change the words or something, or else you have to pay Warner Chappell Music in order to use their song. If you don't do either of these things, you risk being fined like $150,000 or something crazy like that. I'm not going to talk to you about the Happy Birthday song, but I am going to talk to you about birthdays. My birthday, which I think is a pretty cool topic. I was born February 26, 1993. I think it was pretty interesting, but there are also other interesting things that happened in February of 93. Some pretty iconic cultural things, and then also some important historical events. So in pop culture, Michael Jackson was like at the height of his controversy. All of his skin color changes, plastic surgery, stuff like that. On the 10th of February, he went on Oprah. Oprah visited his house, and they did a live TV interview. It was the first time in 14 years that the King of Pop had been interviewed. And it was the most watched televised interview with 90 million viewers. So on this interview, he really opened up about his father, his abusive father, Joe Jackson, who later denied all allegations, but Michael Jackson opened up about that. He also talked about his skin condition and said that he hadn't been bleaching his skin. He actually had a skin disorder called vitiligo, and that caused his skin to be blotchy, so he put on the makeup in order to cover that. He hadn't been like dyeing his skin or anything like that. And he also talked about his plastic surgery, which was another thing that was in controversy at the time. He had gotten a nose job done and something with his scalp, but he said that those were the only two plastic surgeries that he had gotten, only reconstructive surgeries that he had gotten done. In world history, something pretty tragic happened. The World Trade Center was bombed. A car bomb was planted underneath one of the towers, and the explosion ripped through about 6 stories, leaving about 100 square feet of damage. It killed 6 and injured thousands more. The group responsible for this were Islamic fundamentalists, led by Ramzi Youssef, who was a Sunni extremist. His plan, he was captured 2 years later, and it's recorded that he wanted to initially kill 250,000 people. He wanted the bomb to explode one of the buildings and collapse it, and then the rubble from that building to collapse the second. Now, unfortunately, this was an ominous dress rehearsal for what happened 8 years later with Yusuf's uncle and Al-Qaeda with what we know as 9/11. This also triggered the FBI to create like a counterterrorism division within the FBI, and in 98 there was a 5-year plan set out to, like, what do we do to counter these terrorist attacks. Some random facts about February of 93. Gas was only $1.42, so that's about 3 times less than it is now. That sounds fantastic to me. Popular albums that came out. Paul McCartney just released his Off the Ground album, which features his song Off the Ground. Has anyone seen the music video for that? It's the weirdest music video. So they're playing, and Paul McCartney's singing, and then he starts flying, and then his guitar starts flying, and his hat starts flying, and his band starts flying, and everybody's flying, and it's really bizarre, and it's 90s special effects, so it's really great. But it makes sense because the song is called Off the Ground. Another album that was released at that time was Radiohead's Pablo Honey, which features the infamous and popular song Creep. The number 1 hit for February of 93 was Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. And the last 2 days in February, it was followed by the song from Aladdin, A Whole New World. Another top single that was during that time was one of my favorite songs, actually, right now, Little Miss Can't Be Wrong by the Spin Doctors. Some movies that came out. Groundhog Day came out on Groundhog Day, for obvious reasons, of 93. February 93, the Homeward Bound, An Incredible Journey, which I won't watch because it's really sad and talking animals freak me out. And also A Journey to the Center of the Earth, the first movie of that. some other pop culture things. Miss Michigan was crowned Miss USA. Miss Michigan was crowned USA. The Flintstones, Pebbles Flintstone, and Bam Bam Rubble had their wedding in February of 1993. If you didn't know they got married, I didn't even know they got married. So that's some random trivia about February 1993. So I hope you didn't get your phones out and start tweeting about how boring my speech was, because I thought it would be really boring when I started researching it. I was like, nobody's gonna want to listen to me for 6 minutes about February of '93. Nothing exciting happened, but actually some pretty important historical events and pop culture things. Just some interesting trivia about that time. So thanks for listening to